I think we are back live here. As soon as we hit the go live button, we lost connection to um, our internet had an issue here over in the HVTV studios, but I believe we're back here for um, ready to go here. We'll go ahead and see if we can reconnect to the iRacing server here. But once again, we'll welcome you guys to week number 14 here from the Milwaukee Mile, week 2 of the chase here um, for the AWC Pro Series. We get everything kind of reset back up here. We'll get everybody resituated and try to see if we can grab um, our talent up in the booth for tonight's race. I think we should have Mr. Diego Acuna back in the HVTV booth.
Yes, we have.
There he is. Yeah, well, obviously a little bit of a ill-timed lapse of computer hardware there, but once again, my name is Christian Delgado, alongside Diego Acuna up here in the HVTV booth. No, Matthew Perchatsky for tonight's broadcaster from Milwaukee, as he's actually getting his graduation pictures taken here as he gets ready to graduate from UC Riverside. So give a huge congratulations to Matthew up here from the HVTV booth, but just over 3 minutes left in practice. We'll kind of just hopefully try to run through this real quick. Obviously, week 2 here in the chase. So obviously the points are something we're going to have to look at here, but I'll go through our top 6 guys here as we look at Bryson Bird, Wyatt Roberts, Enrique Cucalone, who really in the fight there. Then you go back to Brett Bennett, Carlos Acosta, Jake Scarborough, your top 6 heading into Milwaukee.
Yeah, and for sure we're gonna have multiple guys where Bryson Bird pretty much like with his 5 wins, the first one on the chase already, giving him that little bit of above. But Wyatt Roberts had a very good run, almost getting that win from Bryson last week, last race on Indianapolis. Of course, it was 2 weeks ago. But yeah, a lot of these guys are gonna be going up and down. Joe Farlow, who was pretty much third on coming in Indianapolis, he pretty much fell all the way to the 10th position. So everything can happen. In one race that doesn't go your way is pretty much a moment, a situation that you might not want to have.
Exactly. I mean, in this chase style format, um, you kind of have to be on top of it. You can't really afford to really have a bad race, right? I mean, you look at what Tony Stewart did in 2011, right? He had a horrible regular season, but just turned it on in the chase, and he ended up, squeaking out the championship over Carl Edwards. And Carl, had a phenomenal season, but when it comes to the chase, this is the last, 5 weeks here of the season. You have to be on your A game here, and obviously we thought Joel Farlow would potentially be a contender going into season 20, especially how consistent he was in the regular season. But not a good Indianapolis. It really puts him behind here going into Milwaukee.
Yeah, and I would say like sometimes right here we're gonna say about Carl Edwards back in 2011. Um, yeah, Bryson Bird looks like Carl Edwards back in 2011, but the thing is, who is gonna be that dark horse that is gonna be able to go ahead and like fight him? Right now, I feel that Joe Farlow was gonna be the one to be that dark horse, but that didn't show the case back in Indianapolis unless he is able to change it up. But I'm gonna keep an eye on Wyatt Roberts. Wyatt Roberts actually giving me a good amount. Even he beat me on the last race on the another league, which is his live job. He beat me pretty much. So that's why I'm gonna keep an eye on him.
Yeah, Wyatt's going to be a contender for sure. He's going to be up there probably in the top 5 throughout the whole, playoff. And all we need is, Bryson to have a bad race here. And you look at Wyatt right now, he's P3 in practice. You look back to the 53 who is P13 right now from Milwaukee. So this might be an opportunity for some of these other guys who are just a little bit behind to maybe make some gains here on that number 53 machine.
Oh yeah, and well, with coming out of Milwaukee, you're gonna still have some races that you might want to have a good race, which is gonna be Vegas, Watkins Glen, and Daytona. So Daytona being uh, the biggest one that is gonna be determined, being also the ending the season finale as well.
Our penultimate race here. But regardless, I
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's Vegas actually. Yeah,
yeah,
that was
but
Vegas.
still,
Yeah,
I
yeah. I'm
agree
sorry.
with
Yeah.
you. Diego, the fact that regardless of when Daytona is, it's in the chase. You have to have a good finish there to give yourself an opportunity. You cannot afford to get caught up in something out of your doing here. But regardless, I get that what at the end of the day what you're trying to say. Daytona is still going to be a big race going into the penultimate race of the season there, and they're going to have to be on their A game, but obviously it's going to be good to build points here at a track like Milwaukee to give themselves potentially a cushion going into Daytona there for week number 17. But you see right now, Enrique Cucalone out on track here. He's starting his first time lap here from Milwaukee. See if we can ride on board with the number 22 machine. See if he can show us around how to get around this place.
Very much like a sister to New Hampshire actually. Milwaukee Mile, also another mile 1 mile racetrack, flat, just like Martinsville. So yeah, this is very much like a sister to New Hampshire. If you know about New Hampshire, back um, in the north side, the Cup Series goes there, and this racetrack gives very much a lot of vibes to New Hampshire.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And you see right now, Matthew White top of the board there with that. Now actually, Jake Scarborough up to the board here with the 30.4. So good lap for Jake. Obviously, Jake's someone who's still trying to race for a championship in his own right, right? So, see that 30.48. Certainly top of the board there. You see the 9.2 for the Matthew White. Across the line, Enrique goes P9, 30.6. No, he actually goes up to P6 now with a 30.61. So good lap for Enrique there. We'll continue to look at some drivers who are continuing to set some laps right now. Looks like Cole Wilson in the 27 out on track in this throwback scheme.
Matthew White and Cole Wilson, very much race drivers that are not even in the chase, but they always shows they put on a show and show these chase guys that these guys are good just to have fun. And I would say I would rather to go ahead and like have fun than pretty much putting myself into a stress trying to win a championship. So what Matthew White and Cole J. Wilson and also Jake Richmond, another guy that I think he's been on the last season, if I am correct. If it's not, well, this is gonna be the first ever AWC Pro Series start, at least on this season. But yeah, like Richmond, Jake Richmond, Cole Wilson, Matthew White, they're gonna be fast drivers to go ahead and like give out these guys, these chase guys, some sort of fun. Like that's the thing about the chase. Like yes, we have our 12 guys that are able to get a championship, but also you have to beat the whole field. That in that way you can get that championship up.
I definitely agree. And you talked about Matthew C. White, Jake Richmond, Cole Wilson. They're top of the board here. 1, 2, 3 here from in qualifying right now. Looking at Joel Farlow, the Arctic esports driver, is he once again continuing to have these internet connection issues. I don't know if this will allow a lap time here, but still has one more lap to try to get it done here. A minute and a half left in qualifying. I think that might also actually puts him P15. It's going to allow him to keep the lap time here, but still some blinking issues out of the 24. But going back to what you were saying, Diego, Jake Richmond, I believe this is his first start in season 20, right? So, I mean, definitely going to be interesting to see what he can do on track. And obviously, we've seen Cole Wilson, Matthew White be up there with the best of the best here in AWC. And right now, the first of your playoff drivers right now is Jake Scarborough back there in P4.
Follow pretty much having the still the same situation that happened back in Indianapolis. He had a lot of internet issues, and that's pretty much what happened to him and got him into a accident actually with Fidel Fabian. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't go ahead and like keep up with him because well, that's gonna be a bad race for him. And yeah, Jay Scarborough pretty much starting on the fourth position, leading that chase brigade, we would call it. Um, and then the next one that is gonna be behind him is gonna be Quimera, and then Kukalon, and then Wyatt Roberts. So Bryson Bird is gonna have a lot to do if he wants to at least get away from all these guys. It's gonna start P13, so he's gonna have a lot of rivals on the chase, uh, driving around him.
Yeah, I guess the one upside is there's not really a lot of guys who qualified that well outside of like Scarborough and you maybe Kukulon there up in the top 10. Everybody else is still someone around them. You see White Roberts, he's back there in 11th, only 2 spots ahead of the 53 machine, so not the best qualifying for these chase drivers here. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they can do here for Milwaukee. Obviously, you'd call it a little bit of an oddball track here. We don't come here in the top 2 series anymore, and I don't even know if the trucks are gonna come back here in the planned future yet for Milwaukee. So it's a little bit of an oddball track. A lot of drivers don't have a lot of time here in the sim. It's gonna be interesting to see, who can adapt to Milwaukee, who can make it happen here in week number 14.
Yeah, and we will see how they will go ahead and like do it, because Milwaukee is a very good racetrack, but like I said before, like unlike his bigger sister, which is gonna be New Hampshire, of course, New Hampshire is getting much more of a good treatment, which is still being used as part of the Cup Series as well as the O'Reilly Series. So um, I'm sad that sometimes some racetracks they fall apart. Like we don't use them anymore. At least on the NASCAR side, but at least we can keep using it on iRacing.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about the sim is you can kind of preserve some tracks that no longer stand or no longer there, or it's just frankly tracks that we just don't go to anymore on the schedule. And it's really cool that the sim lets us do that and on iRacing to allow us to come here and continue to run on these historic tracks that fortunately we can't really see on anymore in real life. But granted, further, we'll go ahead and get your starting lineup here presented by HVTV. We'll see the first time starter here in season 20, Jake Richmond take the pole here from Milwaukee. Alongside him, the 25 of Matthew White, Cole Wilson in the number 27, and Jake Scarborough rounding out that row 3. Michael Kruger back there in P5 alongside Zach Probst in that number 62 machine. Gilberto Gamera in the 23 back there in P7 alongside P8. Enrique Cuculone, Blake Lothian, Fidel Fabian round out the top 10.
Gonna go to the Route 16, Route 6. We're gonna have Ryan Roberts and Brett Bennett, pretty much two guys, pretty much a lot of guys on the chase right here, as well as Bryson Bird, our leader, as right beside of Adam Tall on Row 7. Row 8 is gonna have Joe Farlow and Carlos Acosta. In Row 9, we're gonna have Ryan Runabaum, and Tim Goulet Jr. On Row 10 is gonna be Adam Alexander and Reed.
Reed rounds out your top 10.
Colin Reed, yeah. Preston Alexander and Colin Reed. Brendan Reed is going to be in row 11 right next to Sam Botwell, and Christopher Logan is going to run up your field.
Yeah, 23 car strong field here from Milwaukee. See if we end up going green here at a turn 4. We'll take a look at your race weather here before we go green. Look at that, 90-degree track temp. So going to be interesting to see what we do here, but you see the pace car take a hard left turn off the pit road, and we're back green here to start week 14. Back across the stripe, give it to Jake Richmond, and we have a little bit of a blinking issue from Matthew White. Once again, we've seen an issue with the number 25. Have these issues here before in earlier sessions here, and it sucks to see that out of Matthew because he's so quick, and it makes it more difficult for these drivers to try to race around him in a clean manner. Right now, you see him out there still in that P2 position, but it's really put, I would say, probably his teammate here in the 27. You see them with both the same scheme in a bad spot because here comes Michael Kruger down there and that Kyle Busch in spot 41.
Michael Kruger is always trying to go ahead and go forward, trying to pass Cole Wilson on the 27. He's gonna get a good run right here. Maybe Wilson is gonna try to defend, but the inside line is what you want, especially on track like New Hampshire and Milwaukee, where it's just like Martinsville. You want to be on the bottom. Yes, you're gonna have a good launch on the top side, but the bottom is gonna save your tires and it's gonna keep it clean and not able to get your car loose.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers try to, put themselves in the spot right there. Because you saw right there the 27 of Cole Wilson, went side by side with the 41, almost got a look taken at him from the 77, and Jake Scarborough, who's dropped back, the P5 here from the start. But, the bottom's going to be the way to go. But you now start to see a little bit of a single file line here early in the race here from Milwaukee. You start to see some people just kind of get settled in, try to find their pace here, try to figure out where they want to be. Obviously, you might see some drivers be aggressive and maybe make up some spots when they get the opportunity to, but everybody kind of content running, behind each other for the time being.
It's what you need to go ahead and learn the track, learn the breaking point, the moments of throttle, and try to check what you can do on practice, you can do it on the race. Because right now everybody is spread, is all together. Meanwhile, in the practice, everybody's spread in. So everything that you might have done in practice might kind of go ahead and like produce it on the race. However, you need to be careful. If you're pretty much pushing a little bit more, you're gonna kill your tires, and the worst thing that you can do is kill your tires right away.
Yeah, I mean, you see kind of the different lanes. So you see Jake, I don't know, maybe he couldn't get to the bottom as well, but and he's a little bit of that second seam, and you see already that little bit of a mistake here. He's already starting to get a gap by that front four already a little bit. Now you see almost a 1-2 car length advantage now back to the 27 of Cole Wilson. Jake, he's still not out of it, and not for sure, but that just really shows you really have to hit your marks here at Milwaukee just to keep pace here. You make a little mistake like you did right there, you can really start to get back. And now look at Cole Wilson up the track here. That's going to allow the 77 to reel him back in.
As we get into our lap 8, and well, we see it on Michael Kruger, we see it on Kukalon. This is the first race that we get from AWC out of coming with the death of Kyle Busch, and of course legend, the biggest winner, the biggest winner on this on NASCAR, and of course this lap is pretty much for him.
A little moment of silence on lap number 8, and we saw the 22 of Kukalon, who's running, one of his more memorable schemes there back with the Joe Gibbs days, right? But yeah, tough to see what happened. Obviously, this is the first race we've come back here since we've lost Kyle last Thursday, right before the Coke 600. And obviously, once again, I want to just say, everybody over here and on the network praying for Kyle's family, Samantha, Braxton, and Lennox, and Kurt, all his family, everybody involved, everybody at JGR and RCR, and even Hendrick, right? I mean, he did, it's been a year or two over at Hendrick. Praying for the best, right? I know it's not hard, it's not easy to lose someone like Kyle, but the response he had, the response that the whole sport had after losing him, that just shows how much of an icon he will always be to the sport. And we already missed him so much. Obviously, it was really hard to see that 8 car not on track there from Charlotte for the Coke 600. But I think the best thing us NASCAR fans are good at is coming together as a community and just trying to be there for each other and try to move on in the most safe way possible, right? And obviously, we've gone through this before, losing a legend in the sport, and us people in the NASCAR community, obviously a lot of us, especially myself, don't really remember that time of my life, right, when we lost another big icon in the sport. But obviously people were there and are going to be there for Samantha and Braxton and Lennox and everything else. But yeah, just terrible month, right? Terrible last 8, 9, 10 months. So for the NASCAR community, for the racing community in general. But something I want to bring up right now, we talked about Bryson Bird. He's running back here in 23rd, a lap down. So I don't know, maybe he blinked out or had a connection issue, or I don't
I got
obviously.
information that he got a penalty restart violation. He came out of the before the start finish line.
But,
Apparently,
well, there it is. So yeah, huge, you know, costly mistake here early
Mis-
from Bryson. Jump out of line here, pass before the. I would presume it's changing lanes before you got to the line there. He's a lap down now. Obviously, a caution would really bail him out, but I mean, you look at someone like Jake Scarborough, right? He's running P4. He's got almost a 20 gap advantage now back to the 53 who's sitting there a lap down.
that's the mistake that you don't wanna do in this type of races because we don't have the stages. This is a full race, so the best thing you can do is to hope for a caution right away and get back your lap. But what a very big mistake from Bryson Bird. And these are the races that you don't want to do. You don't want to go ahead and like get yourself in a penalty position and also a lap down. So yeah, Jake Scarborough and Wyatt Roberts are watching this. Like, hopefully they're not, of course, taking uh, big confidence that this is over. Like they're gonna be able to catch Bryson Bird. This is still a long race. This is still 15 laps. This is 125 laps, but it's of course a little good news for them for sure.
Yeah, obviously, this is exactly what everybody in front of them, behind Bryson going into the points, wanted to see. You think about Enrique. You look at Wyatt Roberts, right? Who, or even almost 20 points behind, right? This is what you want to see. Obviously, it's a long race, like you said. No stage cautions, but obviously, one caution really bails out Bryson. But obviously, we've seen right now everybody kind of racing with the respect right now. You see this battle outside the top 10 right now for this P12 position. Adam Tal, Blake Lothian, going to battle it out here. But looks like everybody's racing for the most part pretty respectfully, and that's exactly what the 53 doesn't want to see, right? He needs a caution to get himself the lucky dog, as long as he's not caught up in the wreck, obviously, to give himself a chance to at least try to make up some spots here.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of good racing on the top few places. Over here watching 12 and 13. Possibly, we're going to have some battle back in 20th, 19th. But yeah, like the worst thing that happens when you're like having a type of race like this, like you're having the best option, the best chances, and you're pretty much throwing all those chances to the drain, is what the field, just when you have a little of a mistake, the field starts going ahead and like racing all respectfully.
Yeah, there's always that thing of like, of course, when I'm a lap down, they don't wreck. I feel like that's exactly what Bryson is thinking right now, and I think that's happened to a lot of us here on the sim, right? Where you expect them to wreck, especially at a pretty, I wouldn't say this is a hard track, but it's definitely a track that you can't really make a mistake, or you can put yourself in a spot to wreck out, right? And everybody's been doing a really good job here in these first 20 laps, knock on wood, right? But this is like the one time I think probably Bryson expected there to be a caution to get himself back on the lead lap, and right now everybody racing really well around each other. We're right now just racing really well to just find some pace, figure out what you need to do here, because we've already seen a big slinky here when it comes to everybody running around. Like you look back up here to the top 10, that's the 23, and he's already 7, almost 8 seconds behind the pace here, already 20 laps in.
You're gonna see over here the fall off on the tires. Some guys are gonna be able to keep up with the leader. Some guys are gonna be struggling a little bit. Gomera right here is literally struggling a little bit, trying to keep up with the leaders. But at least he's able to keep up with Kukalan. So of course you're not gonna be able to go ahead and be there for taking first position for now. But you're able to go ahead and like get 9th, get 8th, and this getting those position, of course, is gonna grant you more points. So for sure, like for Gomera right here, possibly it's not gonna be the greatest news that, yeah, you're gonna be 8 seconds behind, but at least you're 1 second behind of Kukalan, which is right in front of you. Of course, you're gonna have the fire from Brett Bennett right behind you, but as far as you're faster than Bennett and he's not right on your tail, you're able to go ahead and focus on Gugalon right in front of you.
Yeah, this 23 has definitely been the guy who slid back the furthest out of the guys who qualified, well within the top 10, back 3, but someone who has found some pace or at least was aggressive to make up some spots here is the 42 of Wyatt Roberts. Obviously, we know he's got some good pace underneath this 42 Rush Truck Center's machine, but, he started back in 11th, has made it up into P7 right now. He's about, 5.5 seconds off the race leader. And obviously, and Diego, when you look at the race leaders, you look at the 2, you look at the 25, you look at Michael, you look at the top 4 right now, non-chase guys. So if you are someone like Wyatt Roberts, are you really concerned about where you're running right now? You're running P7, but the top 4 are guys not racing for a chase spot.
I wouldn't mind so, because since they're not in the chase, what you want to be careful about is not to go ahead and um, you want to beat the guys on the chase. Like, you want to be the guys that are like running against you. So if I'm Wyatt Roberts, I wanna keep up and try to pass Jake Scarborough. That's what I want to be. That's who I want to go ahead and like take points from. I want to beat Kokalan, Gomera, Bennett, all those guys that are like in the chase, because of course, winning is everything. You win points, you win the the cushion that you're able to pass the other guys. But Bryson Bird is a lap down right now. If this is keep up like that, like keep up like green flag pretty much, and Bryson is not able, like, I think I see right in front of them. Here you go. You have a car right in front of them. So it's a car. It's gonna be Brendan Reed. So if Brendan gets past, Bryson is not gonna get the lucky dog. So you keep going and you keep going and you try to go ahead and like pass the other guys on the chase. You can let Jake Richman, Matthew White fight for a win, but you want to go ahead and fight for the guys in the chase.
I will say this though, right? When you come to the chase, you get so many more points for getting even that one spot more, right? So I think if you are White, I think you're okay running back there in P7. There's only one other chase driver in front of you, which is the 77 of Jake. But I think, honestly, if you're the 42, you want to make up points. You just got to go up there and start to make some passes. He hasn't been able to run down. He's still slower than your race leaders, but obviously the race leaders are catching a lap car. And, this number 25, Matthew White, he's within striking distance of Jake here in this number 2 machine to make something happen here. Obviously now here goes Brendan Reed getting out of the way. He'll go a lap down, and that will trap, Bryson Bird one lap down. Obviously Bryson can try to run him down the hard way and try to get around Brendan, but right now, I'm looking back at the intervals here. He's about 19 seconds behind this 57 machine. That's a lot of time to make up. That's a lot of time for a potential caution to get thrown here. Only 28 laps in.
The race keeps going. The leaders are going to catch Christopher Logan. They're going to catch Tim Goulet. They're going to catch Preston Alexander. So Bryson is going to run out of options right here. So what is going to happen is pretty much if he keeps the green, Bryson not only is going to have to run Brendan Reed, he got to run Tim Goulet, he got to run Christopher Logan, he got to run a lot of guys, and that's pretty much is going to kill his tires. And hopefully he doesn't go ahead and like run into panic mode and pretty much start hitting the wall or killing their tires before time.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if Bryson can do anything, right? I mean, he's still 18 seconds behind Brendan Reed. Brendan is running a lot slower than Bryson. We know Bryson has the pace to, probably be a top 10, top 5 driver. And now, like, he ran a 31.8. The leader's running 31.8s, right? So he's probably a top 5 guy. But once again, a lap down, he has 18 seconds to make up to Brendan Reed. And then, like you said, Diego, the leaders are catching guys in the back here. Tim Goulet, this is his home track, was really hoping to have some pace here. Look back at Preston Alexander, another
Kyle Busch.
Yeah, another Kyle Busch scheme and another Arctic Esport car. That's what I was trying to think of. This is their part-time entry there in the Skittles machine. Oh, man, a huge send on his team owner. Then you see back there, Brendan Reed also. Not Brendan Reed, Christopher Logan, the 70. These all guys are battling it out here, trying to, race each other. But obviously, they're getting caught. You see there in the background already. These guys are getting ran down by the leaders, and then it's just going to continue to put the pile on more drivers that Bryson Bird has to try to get around. And these guys are significantly even more up the road than the 57 is.
Yeah, and pretty much thinking on the pit stops. Pretty much like once you're a lap down, you're pretty much hand style because you want to get a yellow. You want to get in front of the leaders. In that way, you can go ahead and get a yellow, get back into the lead lap. But the like I said, why your hands tied? Because you're gonna run out of fuel, and if you run out of fuel, you stay out, try to get the lap back. Once you go into pit road, not only you're gonna lose your lap, but you're gonna maybe you lose 2 laps. So I think the best solution right here for Bryson is to pretty much try to get Brendan Reed, and then of course be able to go ahead and get a caution luckily. But right now it seems very hard for him, as I see on the pylon, Sam Botwell, another chase guy, pretty much last after Bryson. So yeah, another chase guy having a really big of a trouble.
Yeah, it looks like Sam just came down pit road, so I think that's why he is cycled back to 23rd. He just came down pit road. I don't know if this is a strategy thing as we're approaching lap 35, right? So if you do like 35, that's 35.70. I mean, that's kind of like splitting it into quarters almost. So, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe a strategy. I think maybe that was, done deliberate when it comes to the 47 going down pit road, trying to maybe make something happen. I don't think that just makes me think that Sam doesn't really have a lot of confidence in this car and wanted to come down pit road here. You see someone else slow, Christopher Logan. Oh, spin down pit road. Keeps it going, but yeah, so we see a couple of guys coming down pit road. I don't know how much when it comes to fuel you have. I think Christopher Logan kind of self-spun out of the exit there. That wasn't pit road. That was down the backstretch. So, yeah, I'm not sure there, but because I don't see him. I don't think he took tires. Yeah, he did take tires. I am just not reading stuff right. But yeah, look at this. Race leaders lapping the 39 of Tim Goulet. We're starting to see some of your leaders come down pit road. Jake Richmond down pit road, out of pit exit here. So never mind. I thought maybe the 47 was maybe making a strategy call. Looks like he made a strategy call and everybody came down with him, or this was just around when he needed the pit.
Possibly it is the first window for fuel, or either they're just gonna go ahead and like split on quarters. However, of course, you see for one car pretty much going into pit road. Of course, you're gonna go ahead and like think that you should go ahead and go to pit road earlier, or you should go ahead and go to pit road later. Of course, right now the best thing is to go ahead and think on a strategy. Think that if you're able to go ahead and like keep out the fuel. Right now, Bryson Bird right here, having Sam Botwell passing him by. So, like I said, this is gonna be a very difficult situation for Bird. If he's still in the lead lap, let's try to go ahead and check on the. No, he's still a lap down. So, Lothian, Acosta, Richmond. I think he's gonna stay a lap down actually.
And there's a bunch of drivers coming in and out of pit road. No, yeah, right. As long as the leaders don't pit, that 53 is going to be trapped a lap down. And the only thing that 53 can do is just stay out as long as he possibly can and hope that every leader pits and he gets like a lucky caution. And then if that doesn't happen, he's going to be even in a worse spot, right? Because he limped it around on old tires, being slower than the rest of the field here. You see the 7 Iran bomb looking underneath. I believe that's another Kyle Busch inspired car. That looks like maybe one of his novice cars or something. A really cool inspired scheme. Obviously, HVTV on the car, so that's even cooler to see on that. But obviously, coming back to Bryson, he needs to have almost every piece of the puzzle kind of fit in line here for him to even, I feel like, get back on the lead lap without a caution. Because right now it looks like everybody's content, running around, just trying to keep the car clean. And maybe this is, I wouldn't say like a coup against the 53, but obviously everybody who was behind coming into this race knows that if we don't get a caution, the 53 is kind of SOL, right? So he needs, everybody knows, like the 42, like the 22, like, you know, the 23. They know if we don't get a caution, the 53 is kind of doesn't have anything that he can do. He just kind of has to run around and hope that people go laps down with him.
Yeah, and you can see on behind Bryson, here comes the leader. I believe. Yeah, that's Richmond. So Richmond is gonna go ahead and like take his lap back. So this is the moment. Like if Richmond passes Bryson, it's game over, and he has to pit because and the worst thing is that it's gonna be 2 laps down, not even a 1, but 2 laps down. So.
Oh, yeah,
this is the moment. If Richmond passes Bryson, it's game over.
Yeah, it is going to be game over because technically right now Jake is on the lead lap. I mean, Bryson is on the lead lap because he is the last person to come down pit road here. But you see the tire advantage on your leader of Jake Richmond here. I don't know. Will you see Jake try to keep him behind here, or is he going to be respectful to try to just let him go? Be like, hey, I tried. But it looks like right now he's going to try to hold on. But right now that 2 just has way too much speed. He's going to easily get around the 53 here. And now Bryce the Bird, going to have to come down pit road here. He's going to go back a lap down, plus come down pit road here. He's, like you said, maybe going to go 2 laps down. I can maybe see him coming out right in front of the race leaders and staying 1 lap down if he can execute down here on pit road.
Possibly he's going to have a little bit more of a fresher tires than the leaders, but yeah, he got to get a perfect pit right here. No speeding, no any type of mistakes. Come out of the pit road clean, and you'll be able to go ahead and like maybe run the leaders, get back your lap back, get back into the just 1 lap down instead
That's
of
the race
like
leader right there.
Behind.
Here he comes.
Yeah, right here. So he's gonna be 2 laps down. But if he's able to get a, there you go. So if he's able to get a clean exit out of pit road, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna have much better fresher tires. Hold it right there, buddy.
Tires, yeah. You cannot afford to do that because now he's gonna have the 41 of Michael Kruger who's gonna get around him. That's another driver he's gonna have to try to navigate around. Here comes the 25 of Matthew C. White as he's gonna try to pass the 53. And right now, you know, Bryson, he's got 8 lap fresher tires than a lot of these guys. Now 9 lap fresher tires than a leader, right? Caution! Oh, man.
No. No. What a bad luck.
That is horrible luck for Bryson. I mean, literally, 1 lap later, he probably stays on the lead. He at least tries to make something happen. I think it might have been the 5 here. He looks like he was slow. We'll see if maybe he can show us what happened here. He did seem a little bit slower. We'll see if Preston, there he is. Spinning down here. I think he just got loose out of the corner here. Preston into the gas too much. You see him spin it out here.
Pretty much what happened. Pretty much like what happened with Bryson, but of course Bryson had a much more colder tires. But yeah.
That's terrible luck for Bryson and that whole 53 team, and I think some of these Chase guys better be sending that 50 some flowers here at the end of the race if this really kills that 53's race, because you know obviously he didn't mean to do that, right? But you'll see some drivers coming down pit road again. Michael Kruger, I don't know, maybe he kind of got faked out there, but he's going to bring a big plethora of drivers behind him. You see, the majority of, you know, the top 5, they're going to stay out here only 11 lap old tires. But Michael Kruger, he only had 9 laps on those tires. Decides to come down pit road one more time. This looks like it's just a stop and go for a lot of these drivers. So maybe fuel an issue that we're going to have to look out for these race leaders.
I'm pretty sure if we're going to be on lap 47, I'm pretty sure with 125, so 75 possibly they're going to make it to the end. I don't know.
Yeah, so we saw everybody come around lap 35, so I don't know if that was a strategy call or if that's a fuel call, right? And maybe they just didn't have enough. So if you think about it here, like let's go lap 35 plus you add another 35 to 47, that's what? 30, that's 70, that's 85, right? That should get you to about, what, 40-ish when you come down pit road. So this might be a call to, you might have to save a little bit of fuel potentially. Obviously, I don't know exactly what the fuel mileage is for tonight's race, but you might be able to like fuel save your way to just one stop here if you came down pit road.
Yeah, and we'll see how these guys are gonna be able to go with this strategy. Of course, you're trying to go ahead and like split the what you say about the split the stage. You try to go ahead and split the run, the green flag run. So of course you're gonna try to, since you're not losing anything. Of course, for some guys were in the chase. So of course, you're trying to get the best opportunities you have to get a much better fuel mileage, as well as if you go later in the run, you're gonna have much better tires to run the leaders down. As we get ready to the restart right here.
It'll be interesting to see how this pit strategy comes out, but you're going to see that pace car. Another hard left turn down pit road for the first time. Our first caution of the race. We'll hand it back over to Jake Richmond. Matthew C. White in the 25. Back to green here to start lap 49.
Good jump by Jake Richmond. Is going to have the teammates fighting for second place. It's going to be Cole Wilson taking the second place right now. Here comes number 25, Matthew White, fighting his teammate.
Matthew on the top. You see Cole on the bottom. Cole gives up the spot for now. And they'll sit back 2 and 3. Joel Farlow, one of those drivers who stayed out. He's up 11 spots from where he started back there. So can Joel hang on there? Obviously, some still connection issues from the 24 machine. But can that number 24 hold on? Try to keep this track position that he just got.
Jake Scarborough tried to go ahead and like get a little much better position, trying to get a move towards that 41 interstate barriers of Michael Kruger. Jake Scarborough watching pretty much another competitor, a rival in Joe Farlow, another chase rival right in front of him. So, of course, you want to have much better points position. That's the car that you want to pass. So, let's see how they go.
Yeah, I think ultimately, I think what is going to be the decider for Joel is at this internet, right? If he starts blinking really bad once again, you might see the race control say, "Hey, Joel, you're going to have to, you have to take it to the back again." We saw that with an Indy, right? He was asked to, go to the back, and he ended up getting caught up in an incident, right? So obviously, it's really tough to see the 24 being in this kind of a precarious spot because. There's really not a whole lot he can do. But someone I want to look back is Michael Kruger. I think this guy is a sleeper to potentially go up there and race for a win here with the 71 and those two. And really the big three for this race. He's shown a lot of speed there. He's got obviously the 24 with the track position there to, drop him back outside that top 4. But Michael Kruger has shown a lot of speed. He was up there inside the top 2 at some points of the race there. He might, have the car to get up there and potentially race for a win. He was so close to making it into the chase. But obviously missed a couple of races, knocked himself out of contention. But every time this 41 shows up to the track, we know he's going to have some speed.
Yeah, and I would say that Michael Kruger pretty much a good racer, a good driver, very much a clean driver. Also, trying to go ahead and like get always the best position. Of course, he wasn't a full-time driver on this season. He came on into some races, but always showing up for those races. He's always been there to be in the top 10, top 5, competing for wins. So yeah, what a great driver that Michael Kruger is.
A little battle further on back. This is for the lucky dog spot. So this is a big battle back here for 19th. At the 5 of the 50, actually. That's Preston Alexander. Brendan Reed, he's in that 57. He's looking at the top side here. Going to try to make this pass work. This is for the lucky dog here if we do get another caution. So this is the big battle further back to try to make stuff. Oh, contact between the two. Not clear for the 50. Brendan Reed going to have to drive it up here on the top. Trying to make this pass work. And yeah, I mean, that really shows how important this battle is. You see them, making contact there down the front stretch.
Pretty much almost gave him a little bit of a front end damage on the 50 of Preston Alexander. Of course, you gotta be careful trying to go ahead and like pass another person. You try to go ahead and like try to. Oh, there he goes.
Caution.
once again.
Preston, another spin here.
Lost it on turn 4 once again. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, this time he was really battling someone. He was trying to say that, that lucky dog candidate. Fortunately, now, regardless, he was technically ahead, but he caused a caution. I believe that should give 57 to Brendan Reed, the lucky dog here. We'll see if that, if not, if I'm race control, you give that 57 because I don't think he made any contact there. But regardless, we saw that spin live, but so we won't go back and look at it. But obviously a hard battling for that lucky dog. Unfortunately, the 50 goes around here. But bring out your second caution, and unfortunately that doesn't really help. Bryce Bertadolles, he's still trapped 2 laps down.
Yeah. And well, President Alexander tried to go ahead, like tried to fight for that lucky dog position. Of course, made that. I'm pretty sure he was trying to get everything from his car, and pretty much made him lost the back tires, and pretty much spun it in the turn 4. Almost reminiscent of what happened early in the race. What brought the first caution. So yeah, more race cars are gonna come into the pits, and some of the leaders are gonna stay out. So no way around for Bryson Bird. So yeah,
I was gonna say this caution was an opportunity for him to maybe take the wave, but some drivers, and you notice the drivers who are staying out here. It's the 22, it's the 42, right? It's the 06. It's these guys who are racing for a championship. Who knows? I can't give that 53 an opportunity, to get the wave, right? It might put me in a worse spot potentially, but I have to put that 53 in the worst spot possible. Obviously, we know the 06 and the 42 kind of teammates with Bryson, but at the end of the day, these guys are racing for a championship, and they have to do what's best for them. Obviously, you want to help your teammate when you can, but giving a teammate a break like that to potentially reel you back in. You look at someone like Wyatt; he comes in P2, 29 points behind, right? He's sitting. He'll restart P3, right? And you look at Bryson Bird; he's 23rd, right? So if he gets a top 3, he's gonna gain 20 points on your points leader. He will be back down -3 going into next week if he would finish where he is now, and if Bryson would finish where he is now. Obviously, Tim Galley also back here. He's also 2 laps down. You see him taking some damage down Perry Road here. He missed the box there, but Tim Galley, someone I wanted to look at here, his home race here from Milwaukee. So I saw on Tim's social media that this was a race that he had circled on his calendar that won a race well at. You see a little bit of a Kyle Busch homage here on the quarter panels there. So really cool to see here, but see that badge Ford Mustang back out on track, trying to make something else out of this day here. Obviously, we're almost halfway done with this race, so still quite a bit of time for the 39 and even the 53 Bryson Bird to try to make something happen here early. But obviously, we still have 3 cars that are 1 lap ahead of them, so it's gonna be interesting to see here. But pace car off, forward front row, it's gonna be Kruger and Enrique back to the stripe.
Kruger got a good launch. Here comes Kukalon, taking the position from Wyatt Roberts.
And look at this Ford brigade. I think that's all Fords in the top 5 right there.
Oh, 4 wide. Oh,
4 wide in the back here. Holy moly! Here comes the 27. These are the guys on newer tires.
Oh!
Ronabom, what a save by the 7 to keep it going. He got the bumper put to him by the 7. Nicole Wilson gonna have to back it down there. But here comes now the 42 Wyatt Roberts, looking potentially bottom of 3, now bottom of 2. Trying to get out of the way there, but man, what a save by the 7 to keep these things going green.
Some of these guys took tires, so yeah, we're gonna have some tire strategies right here with Wyatt Roberts and Kukalon. Meanwhile, Cole Wilson, Jake Richmond, and Matthew White, they're gonna be rolling on the top, having much better grip, better tires. Of course, Wyatt Roberts is gonna be only a little bit of loose on the back. The number 26 of
Colin Reed. Wow, what
it's gonna be Colin Reed, yeah.
Really had to catch that car there. One of those. Oh, it's a 57
Oh,
in the
there
back.
goes the other Reed, Brendan. And once again, was it 50?
See what happened here in the back. We saw the 57 around. Take a look and see what happened here to Brendan. You're in the back here. Just got the lucky dog, I believe. No, I don't. Just one lap down
Yeah, he got
again.
it. He got it. He was.
See what happened here. Further back, we'll look at our chopper cam. We can find it. Actually, look at the blimp.
Oh, he didn't got it. Yeah.
And going into 1 and 2 here, the 50. Driving it in the corner. Just comes up and gets the 57 there. Oh, man.
Yeah.
And a lot of rear end damage to the 57. You can see probably some little bit of left front damage, right front damage to the 50, but that's the third one that the 50's caused. I don't know. Maybe race control is going to maybe start talking to him about, hey, if you can't handle the car, you might just want to back it down and, try another day, right? Because, I mean, obviously this is what Bryson wants to see. Obviously, it's a kind of two-edged sword for Bryson because the 50 is the one who trapped him 2 laps down, but he's also causing cautions to try to get Bryson back some of these laps back. But obviously, Bryson still has 3 more guys ahead of him, the 70, the 57, and the 5 who are 1 lap down versus Bryson who's still trapped 2, right? I honestly, I just don't think there's anything that Bryson can do here to fix some stuff. And I think, Bryson, I thought maybe that was end of the line there, but no, there was a blink from the 53 there. It was dropped to the back once again, but man, like obviously, as a competitor, you love to see what's happened with Bryson, and even as a broadcaster, because it's a big storyline to talk about. But for Bryson, I feel really bad. I mean, obviously he made that mistake, and he's just continuing to pay the price again and again and again here for Milwaukee.
Yeah, but that's what races are made. Like the frustration on races, that's what happens. And of course, Bryson tried to do the best to go ahead and stay in the lead lap, tried to get that lucky caution, and of course, it hasn't go pretty much up to his standards. So, of course, possibly he's gonna get a lucky break, possibly not. But that's how races goes, and of course, hopefully. With the next one, if anything happens and he stays on the back, as far as he's able to go ahead and like keep it clean, keep it because there might be also cautions where people are wrecking, and some of them might be chase contenders. You never know, so that's why you never give up. That's why you might be a lap down, but you might be able to pass some people once more caution or wrecks happens. So
yeah, and Bryson just gained a spot. 53 of Brendan Reed still down period fixing damage, but in my opinion, this is the one dud that Bryson Bird can afford to have, right? And this should almost just level the playing field for everybody else. He's got to be on his A game the rest of the season here. He wants to, be the favorite to win the championship, but he lights off on the pace car, the hard left down pit road. The number 71 or the 2 on fresh tires. He leads us back to green there. Michael Kruger back there in P2.
Jake Richmond right away taking the position, leading on the number 41 of Michael Kruger. Michael Kruger pretty much having older tires, having that little brink on the out of 2. Here comes Jake Scarborough into Kukalon. Kukalon was able to save it. What a save, especially with a controller. So good save by Kukalon right there. Jake Scarborough a little bit deep onto the braking point.
And I don't think Jake meant to do that, obviously. I just think he drove it in and saw a gap and took it. Bushley kind of overdrove the car there and kind of used up 22 there. But he'll take the P3 position over the 06. Adam Tall.
I think I saw a car in the back. Yeah, that was Adam Tall. I think I'll get a little bit of a help coming out of 2, but he's able to get it back on.
And trying to get that car back under center there. He's going to lose a lot of spots there. Back to P17. You see Bryson Bird in the mix here. Just running in around. If you're Bryson, what do you do here? You're 2 laps down. You know you've got a fast car, but you're not going to be able to get to the race leader. I mean, do you just sit in the back and hope? Or are you, I mean, if I'm a racer, I'm going to race. But obviously, you can't put yourself in a spot to maybe get caught out there. You see,
like that, yeah.
You can't really afford to do that, right? You can't put yourself in a spot to get wrecked and really completely ruin your race here. There's still a little bit of hope left in this 53 camp to at least maybe get a spot or 2. I'm in a little bit of an juxtaposition of what you have to do here to put yourself in a good spot. Someone I want to look at here, Wyatt Roberts, all 15 here. I don't know what happened in the 42 to lose all this track position, but you see him back here outside the top 10.
I think Wyatt Roberts has him coming to the pit road. Yeah, he's still on all the tires on the first pit stop. So I think what he's trying to get is trying to save a set of tires for late in the race. Maybe once another caution comes in, he's gonna put that set of tires, be able to go ahead and get some positions. Pretty much the same strategy that you used back in the last race on Charlotte on the side job on the other league. So I see his strategy, the same strategy I did as well. So not surprising coming from Wyatt Roberts, to be honest. Very good strategy. It worked for him the last time. Hopefully it works again.
Battle further up here. Zach Probst looking underneath the 51, Fidel Fabian. We haven't said Fidel's name all race yet, but you see him right inside this top 10, battling out with the 62. Zach hasn't ran full time here in the Pro Series, but when he does, he's usually a top 10 guy. Same as Fidel. He hasn't ran full time, but I would say top 10 drivers here in AWC Pro Series. Now you see the 62 looking underneath the 22 of Kukulon. Kukulon also one of those drivers with those older tires.
We're got a much better position right here, but it also is going to be a big block. Pretty much like we would say a chicane being passed by all these guys with pressure tires. Here comes Ryan Ronnebaum with the 7 machine, throwing it back to Kyle Busch in the 2009 Nashville win, actually. So that's the information right there that I wanted to show. But yeah, here comes Ryan Ronnebaum, Fidel Fabian, and Ronnebaum a little bit loose, and he's gonna hit the O2.
Man.
Yeah, that should be the caution right there. Oh, hold it right there.
Man, that was almost Gilberto getting in the back of him, and that's our fault for showing the camera on him. Sorry, Ryan. That's we got him there. So I want caution will wait for you. Something I want to talk about now. I think this should give the 50 the lucky dog. I will put Bryson the first car laps down here if the 5 does get the lucky dog, and if he doesn't, I believe this should put Bryson in contention to at least get one of his laps back. So, and we talked about it. You can't afford to put yourself in a bad spot right now. Bryson going to be at the top of the pecking order sooner or later, as long as guys don't continue to get damage and put himself just 1 lap down versus the 2 that he is now.
Yeah, I would say if Bryson can go ahead and get all his laps back, well, we are pretty much halfway on the race. So if the trend continues and we're still having a caution as a caution, pretty much Bryson is going to have a shot right here, maybe be able to go ahead and get back into the lead lap. But either way, once he guys get back into the lead lap, you're still going to be on the tail end of the lead lap. So yeah, you're going to be in the lead lap, but you're gonna be still need to pass all these guys, and you gotta get to the leaders if you wanna win this race. So as far as I'm concerned, yeah, Jake is gonna Bryson is gonna have a much big of a task that any of the chase contenders right here. As here we go, Bryson Alexander is gonna be our lucky dog, so he's gonna be back on the lead lap. So that should put Bryson Bird on the first car 2 laps down. So of course, if the trend continues, he will be back on the game.
Yeah, I mean, he needs a couple cautions to give himself an opportunity, and obviously you have to look at, we still have some guys down pit side here, right? I don't know if they may be taking damage. No, actually, everybody out of pit road here. So he should be the first car laps down here. Granted, he is 2 laps down, but obviously needs a couple of cautions to throw his way as we approach 50 to go, right? 50 laps isn't a ton of laps, but obviously we know as the laps count down, probably some people are going to be a little bit more aggressive to try to, maybe get some spots here, especially these playoff guys who need the points, especially knowing that Bryson Bird is back here in 21st, right? This is a perfect opportunity to take advantage and try to be aggressive to maybe get a spot or 2 to continue to cut this, this gap even closer back to Bryson Bird.
As the pace car lights are off, I think Wyatt Roberts went into pit. So yeah, there's the strategy I was talking about, and now we're gonna have cars with possibly 10 laps all the tires, and we're gonna have Wyatt Roberts who have pressure tires. So we'll see how these guys, how Wyatt and other guys who pitted, they're gonna be able to go ahead and go to the front without getting involved in any type of caution, of course.
Going to be interesting to see here. Lap 77. Here we go. Back to green. Jake Richmond back to the point. Something I want to point out, it's not 10 lap pressure tires, it's 20 lap pressure tires. The first guy on tires is Matthew White back there in that 25, and here he comes top at 3. He's going to try to drive his way through the field. He's going to bring along his teammate, Cole Wilson, who's also on fresh cheese. Adam Tal, Wyatt Roberts back there as well with these 20 lap pressure tires here. You see top of 3 for the 27 as well. They're trying to split through the gaps here to try to drive up through the field one more time.
Here comes again, this guy is trying to pass all the field right here. Cole Wilson, Matthew White, trying to get aggressive, but try not to be so aggressive because they're not trying to get another yellow. Here comes Cole Wilson, I believe. Yes, it is on the number 27, right below of the number 22 of Kukalan. Kukalan had to give some room out of the 27 because if not, he was going to pretty much turn him around. Wyatt Robert on the outside passing the 47 about, as well as Adam Tall. So all these guys are going to be having fresher tires, going to be more aggressive, trying to pass all these guys with all the tires.
And someone I want to look at is a 22. He still has not come down pit road. He's got 32 lap full tires. So does Brett Bennett back here in 8. So these guys also, you talk about like the strategy that kind of out-gapped, the guys who pitted not this caution, but the caution before. These guys are trying to do the same thing, but with the guys who pitted now, right? If we can go another, 20, 25 laps here, another 15, 20 laps, right? Then these guys will be the guys with the pressure tires here. With what? If we go another 20 laps here with 20 to go, these guys will be the guys with the fresh tires if the trend continues to give these guys an opportunity to, drive their way to the front here. But here comes Wyatt Roberts. He's done probably the worst job at getting to the field here with these newer tires. I think he's just being a little bit more patient versus the 27 and the 25 who've already driven themselves up into the top 5, now inside the top 4.
Yeah, Wyatt Roberts is very much like trying to save his tires. Of course, trying to go ahead and not try to kill his tires because he's using the outside. Here comes Wilson and White pretty much right behind Jay Scarborough. Jay Scarborough is going to have the fresher guys with the fresh tires right behind him. Pretty much teammates having the same paint scheme right here. So passes Wilson, and Wilson is going to be able to get a good, clean picture of the number 2 of Jake Richmond.
And Jake, I don't think has anything with these guys either. He's got 24 lap old tires. He's got about 20 lap older tires than these guys as well. And obviously we know he's been by far the class of the field. He just does not have the tires, and we know how abrasive Milwaukee can be here on these Goodyear Eagles. I just don't know if he can hang on here for very much longer. Is the 27 not going to drive it down there on the bottom? 1 to the 2, not giving him a lot of room though, but here comes the 27 side by side on through 1 and 2. Dude trying to hold on tough, but the 27 will clear here on the backstretch. No, not quite. Still side by side.
Good defense right there. Yeah. But here comes the into turn 3. That's gonna be it for the lead change. Cole Wilson is gonna be your new leader. Pretty much on fresher tires. Here comes his teammate Matthew White as on 2 of Richmond. So as far as the caution doesn't come out, of course, these guys are gonna be much faster. But they're still gonna have one more pit stop. So
yeah, I was told in our live chat, and we appreciate it for coming in and watching and being a part of it, that these guys can go around 37 laps, if that is correct, by David McGuire. I believe he's someone who's got the insider knowledge here. These guys, no one can make it to the end if that's the case. So So there's still going to be another pit stop at hand here. But right now, it looks like if we continue to go green here, these two leaders are going to have a huge advantage on the rest of the field.
Yes, and I would say that possibly the guys that are behind them, possibly they went to the caution before that, before Ryan Runnebaum's spin. So possibly they're gonna be coming into pit road like in the next 10 laps or so. Meanwhile, these guys need to go ahead and go uh, to the pit road in about 20 laps. If we keep up with the metrics of 34 or 37 laps on the tank, so it's gonna be interesting because of course it's gonna be a lot of lead changes, a lot of back and forth between these leaders.
You have a little pack of cars here further on back. Blake Lothian, Michael Kruger leading this pack there. I think Michael's holding these guys up a little bit. He's got 40 laps on these tires now. Blake came down, not this last caution, but the caution before with that big cycle. And just Blake can't get around Michael right now. And Michael's just kind of, I feel like holding these guys up just a little bit, not too much. And then see Brett Bender back here alongside Enrique, Carlos, and Joe Farlow back there in P13. These guys are kind of in no man's land right now because, you know, none of these guys are the guys who took the tires this last caution. They don't have the speed to just get up and go around these guys. These guys have about, 30 to 40 lap old tires here now. And it's kind of a stalemate further back here outside the top 5.
Meanwhile, Bryson Bird is right there on the first guy with 2 laps down, and right in the moment that you have the position to be able to get your laps back, they don't wreck.
Yeah, I mean it's that's kind of the worst thing that can happen to Bryson. The lap after he comes down pit road, he gets the caution comes out, right? And he would have been the lucky dog, I believe, if he would have just stayed out, right? At one extra lap. Because he had just gotten passed by the race leader at the time of Jake Richmond. He would have got the lucky dog. He would have got a free pit stop, basically. And obviously would have had to start tail end of the longest line, but it would have still been on the lead lap. And we know he could, that he has the pace to just drive through the field, right? Unfortunately, the lap he came down pit road is when the caution came out. He's now still trapped 2 laps down. Still needs a couple of cautions to turn this race around here for the 53. Right now, sitting back there in P21. You see him right now trying to drive through some of these lead lap cars here, trying to give himself a better opportunity. I don't think he has the pace, obviously, to go unlap himself the hard way, especially with 35 to go. But still has a fast car, and he's showing it right now.
Right now, I think we're seeing the guys who were on the other part of the strategy fitting in right here. So, like I said, they were gonna come in very early, unlike the other cars with pressure tires. So possibly we're gonna see Richmond, Scarborough, Fabian, and other guys coming into the pits, trying to get that fresh, good tires, and of course more fuel, which is possibly with 34 to go. That's gonna be their final pit stop.
Yeah, that was we were definitely in the fuel window to make it here the rest of the way. So now it's just about what strategy. It's kind of like whatever strategy you picked, you kind of have to have a set time of when you can come down. You saw the 22 and the 41. Those guys were almost on 45 lap old tires, right? And basically needed to get into the window there to make the stop, right? See the 71 of Richmond. He's out of pit road now. He's the first car a lap down, but obviously we'll have the fresher tires. Should be able to easily get around these two with the pace and the talent that this two is shown. Shouldn't be hard to get back around to unlap himself.
As far as he's able to go ahead and get a good lap with his cold tires, he might be able to get a good position, try to pass the cars of White and Wilson, get back his lap pretty much.
Damn, he's been easy, but also, he saw the 53 when he tried to get his lap back, drive it into the corner and lose it on cold tires. Is
right there, right there.
I was gonna
What
say
a
maybe
save!
maybe he learned the hard way from Bryson Bird, but no. Oh, there's a caution out.
Oh,
The 20 was that the 26, I believe. Colin Reed.
Colin Reed.
So we have two of the same paints.
Wow.
Colin Reed brings out the caution, and once again, Bryson Bird will not be the lucky dog because we're under the pit cycle. Jake Richmond will get the lucky dog here.
If those leaders stay out, Bryson Bird will be shaking his head very hard because, wow. I think Colin Reid was trying to get onto the pit lane or pretty
Yeah, it
much
looks like I think he
lost
was
it.
trying to pit. Yeah, it looks like he was trying to
Yeah.
pit, and it looks like he maybe got the apron in the wrong spot there, caught the curb, and just the car just kind of stepped out from underneath him. And he had, he was one of those guys with the older tires. Finally, just couldn't hold on to it. Trying to get that thing locked down coming down pit road, and caution will wave, and that is, that's literally like a knife in the side there for Bryson Bird. Looks like Bryson, I think, is gonna stay out here. Yes.
So he's gonna get that wave around.
It shows him one lap down right now. I think everybody in front of him, yeah, and Kruger, Bennett, all these guys are also a lap down.
Yeah.
So they're also taking the wave around. So this should put Bryson in a spot to where he could take the wave. He does have 20 lap old tires, so this isn't a move of success. This is a move of desperation to give himself an opportunity to maybe get a caution here late in the race to give himself the lucky dog. Because with this being said here, Colin Reed is out of the car, so I don't know, maybe he called it a night here, but he's the only other guy one lap down right now. Bryson Bird should be the only car one lap down unless we get something catastrophic happen again here. You'll see these guys go around, get around the pace car here, get their laps back. Like Tim Goulet also will come around. He'll also go one lap down. So it's gonna be between Goulet and Bird for this lucky dog spot. But if I'm thinking about this correctly. Unless Goulet was 3 laps down, he's going back to 2.
I think it was 3 laps down, yeah.
Okay. So Bryson Bird will go back to 1 lap down, right? This is huge for him. 1 caution brings him back on the lead lap. Obviously, he needs one pretty quickly because with 29 to go, there's not a lot of laps to get back up.
He still needs to pit, so yeah. If there's no any cautions, he might have to pit in the next 10 laps. So
obviously, if I'm him right now, I'm fuel saving much as I can. There's a green flag. We're too busy looking at that. Race back green. 2 teammates, Cole Wilson, Matthew Wyatt Roberts back to the point.
now all the leaders are gonna be in the same strategy on the same tires, because Richmond, all the guys who were behind, they're gonna be on the back of the lead lap. So all these guys are gonna have the same tire wear right now. So right here comes Wilson with Wyatt, and Wyatt Roberts pretty much leading the chase, guys. Best position for him right now.
Yeah, I think he probably got the lucky break when it came to the green flag pit stops, because he was one of those guys with the 27 and the 25 who pitted with them, who was able to stick it out longer and then have to come down and make that pit stop, and got the caution, which basically gave him a free pit stop, right? To keep to take the track position away from some of these guys who pitted, right, and are now stuck, tail end of the lead lap here. And you look at someone like this. Here comes the 71 down pit road, or the 2 machine. No black flag, but actually no black flag. Yes, for Jake Richmond. Did he maybe change lanes or something?
And this changes everything, because if that 2 comes out right now and he loses a lap,
I think he'll be fine. He's already out and down the backstretch, but he's just about half a lap down the rest of the field. So I don't think that's going to put Bryson Bird in an opportunity to lose his lucky dog, because it was only a drive-through, it looks like. So Um, he just had to come down pit road, which I would say that was probably a. I'm not sure what that'd be because if he, I mean Bryson Bird had a stop and go for his penalty for changing lanes, so I'm unsure of what that was for. Maybe something else. I'm not sure, but regardless, he's back there in P19, last on the lead lap. I'm about half a lap down, but going back to the race for the lead, it's Wilson, White, Robert, Scarborough, your top four.
A little bit almost into the outside wall, both Wilson and Wyatt Roberts. Wyatt Roberts is gonna get some fire from Scarborough. Scarborough having much better exit coming out of 2, but he's gonna get some fire from Fidel Fabian. Fidel Fabian is looking on the inside. Jake has to close the door. Fidel Fabian is trying to use that line that we usually use on the Milwaukee, on the Magic Mile in New Hampshire. So, like I said, pretty much like a sister track. Milwaukee is also, you can run that bottom lane, at least on the sim.
Yeah, there's definitely similarities to New Hampshire and Milwaukee, and you see a lot of drivers take what they know from New Hampshire to bring it over here. Obviously, I feel like Milwaukee's a lot more abrasive than New Hampshire. Obviously, it's an older track surface. It's an older track in general, right? So, I feel like the only thing that's slightly different is there's a little bit of more banking into the corners here at Milwaukee, and obviously the track's a lot more abrasive. The tire wear is going to be a lot worse than what you'd see at New Hampshire, but. Jake doing a good job. He's been up inside the top 5 all race long for the most part, outside of like some of the different pit strategies. But this is gonna be a really good points day for Jake. It's gonna be a really good points day for Wyatt as well. Jake needs a lot of points to put himself back in contention here to be a contender here. I think he came in P5 or P6, right? Quite a ways down here, especially compared to someone like the 42 Roberts, who's second in points, right? He's only 29 points behind. Bryson Bird, and Bryson, still needs a caution to turn his race around. He's slowly getting spots. He's back up inside the top 20, back there in P20, but still not the points day that he needs to hold on if he wants to be competitive here for the championship.
Totally not the day that you want to have because, yeah, it's top 20, but Jake's Scarborough and Wyatt Roberts is right there, P3 and P4. So your direct competitors are pretty much having the greatest of days right now. And if Wilson and White, they don't go ahead and go for the lead, try to battle themselves out, and who can know, they can go ahead and take each other out on the last lap, and Wyatt Roberts can go ahead and get a win. So you might never know what's going to happen in the end of the race, as we see Lothian right here fighting with Kruger on the turn 4. But yeah, coming into 19 to go, Bryson right now is pretty much pulled all his cards on the table, and right now he is pretty much praying for that caution to happen. But as we get to the 18 to go, I don't know, he gotta get the pit very soon.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to do what Bryson did. And going back to what you're saying, right? Not only is he P20, that's not a good finish. He's P20 with probably a top 5 car, right? He's going speed all race long. Granted, he's been a lap down the whole race. He's been running the same laps as the race leaders all race long. And I think that even stings more if you're in the 53 camp, right? You probably had a race-winning car, at least a top 5 machine. And you've been just kind of trapped the whole race just because of a silly mistake at the start of the race. That has trapped you a lap down, right? The whole race long, obviously, like you said, he ran 35 laps. He's running out of time. So it's going to be a matter of time before Bryson can come down. I wonder if he's trying to save fuel here.
Like I said, it's going to be close enough because as we see the pylon, Richmond is 19 seconds, but he's closing. So he's closing into Runabout, he's closing into Alexander, and these guys are going to go behind, and we see that Bryson is right behind Runabout, so Runabout is going to have 18 seconds right now.
Well, and also Bryson, I mean, fuel saving. He's turning off the car in every corner. I think that's why he's a
Yeah.
little bit slower. He's running 32 threes to the leader's 31 threes, so he's a whole second slower. He's just trying to hold on and hope and pray that he can make something happen here because, you know, he's got to try to hold on to it and hope for a caution. That's the only thing he can do. And if he doesn't get a caution, has to pit, and he might go 3 laps down, right? So,
Yeah.
with how slow he
And that's
is.
the worst because possibly we're gonna be having to steal some cars. Yeah, we have still Tingulay, so, which is 2 laps down, so he's gonna fall to the 21st position.
Yeah, it's just bad situation after bad situation for the 53 machine. You see the 2 get around there after his drive-through penalty. Granted, this isn't for position or anything. This is a position for Ryan though. So, battle for the P18 spot. Jake will easily get around there with the fresher tires. But now Bryson just has to hold on as long as he can now. He's ran 38 laps. That is the most we've ever seen here. Obviously, he's been aggressively fuel saving, hoping for a caution. The issue is just looking around. No one's around each other. I think the closest battle is Adam Tal and Michael Kruger. And they're, within 2/10 of each other. But everybody else separated by at least, 4/10. Only other people around each other is the battle for the race lead, which is heating up. They're side by side. Matthew White on the outside, but they're going to race each other respectfully. They're not going to probably try to wreck each other with 12 to go here for the race lead. Here comes Matthew White on the top, trying to make the move here for the race lead.
Trying to pass on the outside. Here comes the number 25 of Matthew White. Oh, Wilson is going to miss a little bit the bottom right there, trying to get a good braking zone. Of course, the car is going to get a little bit tight, especially with the airflow. These guys are going to be pretty much still making some fast laps right here. So
I think Matthew's got a little bit of a better car right now, but we've seen how hard it is to pass you from Milwaukee. It's kind of a single groove track. Saw him try the top and was having some success, but I mean, he just overdrove going forward that one time and allowed the 27 to get back clear. Now he kind of has to start from scratch there. And obviously, these guys are going to race each other pretty respectfully, teammates, same paint scheme. So you're not going to see maybe the bumper get put to him until maybe 5 to go, I would say. See Matthew being really, really respectful right now. Trying to get get around the 27 the clean way versus, trying to use him up or something. But right now, Cole Wilson holding on here for now with 10 to go.
Gonna be very respectful right here on the braking zone on the 3 and 4. But ahead of him is gonna be the number 57 of Brendan Reed. First car on the lap downs, pretty much 3 laps down. So it's gonna be losing another one, which is gonna be 4 laps down.
You see,
I believe that Bryson Bird went to the pit road.
Bryson down pit road. He could not save anymore. So he's back down to 2 laps down. Granted, he's still the first car laps down. But now instead of 1 caution, he needs 2. And I don't see 1 coming out right now. Granted, 2 with 9 to go. Everybody's being really respectful. Go back to the race for the lead here. 8 to go here for AWC Pro Series drivers. And these guys are muscling these things around. They are not saving anything back. But guess what? Wyatt Roberts is slowly creeping these guys in. They're slowly catching him in. He's been the fastest car these last 5 laps. With 8 to go, does he have enough time to get back to their 2 race leaders, though?
Wyatt Roberts needs is the 2 guys. Oh, into the wall. That's going to be Matthew White on the 25. Yeah, that's what Wyatt Roberts needs. He needs the 2 guys still fighting for the lead, as well as those lap cars having given them the hardest time holding him off. So, yeah, Wyatt Roberts is going to need that those helps. It's going to be 0.8 of a second behind the race leader. Race leaders are going to be losing time right here. Wyatt Roberts looks to be the best car right now. So what Roberts needs to do right now is to pretty much keep doing what he's doing, saving his tires, doing his lane, because he's the best car right now on coming into 5 laps to go.
The issue is I think you might be able to get to Matthew and maybe make the pass. I don't. They get around two guys who have been by far the class of the field tonight. It's gonna be hard, but you know Wyatt's got a lot more to lose. Maybe these guys will race them with a little bit more finesse and patience because you know Wyatt does need to go up there and try to. I mean, if he wins this race, this will change a lot in the points, right? So this changes
Oh
a
yeah.
lot. So Wyatt got a lot more to lose here, but he's got a lot more to gain as well. So
That's why he doesn't need.
that's a significant amount of
Wow.
time. Got caught up by the lapper there. Nothing that Brendan Reed could do. Just wrong place, wrong time for him. But here comes Ron Baum, one of the leaders here. I'm gonna probably try to stay on the lead lap here. If it were me, I'm gonna try to stay on hold of the lead lap. Hope that something happens here with 5 to go. Ryan
One of them trying
getting
to
out of
hold
the
the right
way.
there.
So by the looks of it, he's gonna get a good run down the back. Maybe hold up Matthew White a little bit. But these guys are bounded out here. I don't even think they're concerned with the 42 right now. These guys are racing for the win here. We cross the stripe here. 3 to go here for Cole Wilson and Matthew White. Wilson a little sideways there. That's going to allow White to look to the outside here through 1 and 2.
On the outside. Matthew White is gonna have the much better run on the outside, but the question is, he's gonna be able to pass him on the 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is gonna be much better for the inside.
Wilson's going to drive it into the corner here. I think Matthews, like I said, he's got the better car. Can have a better run out of turn 3 and 4. He might get around the 27.
Oh, he comes. Yeah. 2 to
Not-
go.
2 to go here for Matthew White. What is Cole Wilson? Does Cole Wilson have anything left here? He's going to drive it down here in the 1 and 2 again. These two bounded out. The 42 is there. If they make contact in any shape or way or form.
They're coming to the bat straight away. Cole Wilson is gonna have two more time.
Oh, Wyatt
Here comes
Roberts with
Wyatt
the
Roberts.
huge
Wyatt
send.
Roberts a little bit close.
Now Wyatt Roberts
Wow.
with the huge send in the 3 and 4. That's gonna basically take away any shot he's got. The race for the win here. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be Matthew White. Cole Wilson here. White flag in the air here from Milwaukee.
These two guys plus big shout out to Jake Richmond, pretty much the class of the field. Here comes to turn 3.
Send
Cole
from the
Wilson is gonna have the
27.
last opportunity, but he's not gonna be able to.
They're coming out of turn 3 and 4. Matthew White, a pass with 3 to go. He's going to take it here from Milwaukee. What a battle for the win there between these two teammates. Really respectful racing. And like I said, it looked like Matthew just had a little bit of better car. Got around him on the top. Bull just didn't have anything for him there at the end. And you saw really classy. Did not put the bumper to the 25 there. Tried to drive it in, maybe try to get the 25 looking in the rearview mirror, but Matthew White's going to take it here. His first win of the season here in the AWC Pro Series for season 20.
Burn it down, Matthew White. What a pass on the outside. Got him a much better car. Huge shout out to Wyatt Roberts trying to go ahead and like get that position from both of them actually. Trying to send it out coming onto the White. Of course, Jake Richmond, also a good. If it wasn't for that violation, of course he was gonna be another contender for the win. But Matthew White is gonna take it all and bring it home here in Milwaukee Mile.
You know, burning it down here on the phone stretch for you fans at home, right across the start finish line. And man, I mean, you talk about, taking points. This is 25 to 27. If the two decides to come back, these guys are going to be competitive, and these guys are going to decide potentially who wins the championship if they're going to be out here contending for wins week in and week out. So I'm really interested to see if these guys decide to come out and show up and show out for these last 3 weeks of the season, because these 3 drivers will change the complexity of this championship fight.
Yes, and pretty much, like I said, these guys are gonna be here to have fun, and what they want to do is just take wins. Of course, for the chase guys, Wyatt Roberts being the first guy on the chase, being followed by Jake Scarborough, and then right on the 3rd position of the chase guys is gonna be Gilberto Javier Gomera. So for all these guys, Gukalon is gonna be in the mid pack on the 12, and of course the biggest story is gonna be Bryson Bird having uh pretty much the terrible race of this season. Pretty much having that 2 laps to go, 2 laps down the whole race, just because of that mistake on the start of the race.
It's gonna be interesting to see how Bryson can rebound here in these last couple of weeks. But we are gonna go ahead and take a quick commercial break here from Milwaukee, and we'll be back here to start your post race show here, talk to your top 3 finishers, and wrap up tonight's broadcast here from the Milwaukee Mile. We'll be right back here on the other side of this ad break.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We welcome you back to the post race show here for the AWC Pro Series from the Milwaukee Mile. And what a race, what a finish there. We congratulate Matthew C. White on his win tonight. Once again, Christian Elgato alongside Diego Acuna up here in the HVTV booth. No, Matthew Prochatsky, as we congratulate him on getting ready to graduate from the Riverside as he finishes out his college career there. But I think we have our third place finisher, Wyatt Roberts, down here in the booth. I think Matthew's got him up here ready for an interview.
Wyatt Roberts, this is the guy that finished second to you the other day. You got us?
Yep, here I am.
Well, third position. You were pretty much the fastest guy coming on to the final few laps. There's anything that you could have done anything differently to try to pass both second and maybe first?
Yeah, I mean, first and second, they were really going at it. I was getting excited. I was closing a lot. Then they chilled out a little bit and then started going back at it with like 5 to go. And I got right to their bumper at a point, but I kind of overdrove coming to the white and got a slower exit off 4 starting the final lap. And honestly, I think that was kind of it, where it's like I wasn't going to be able to at least go for the 27. But I mean, Milwaukee's a hard track to pass, so it would have been tricky to set it up. But the way they were going at it, they were blocking each other. I saw them tap the wall. They were sliding into the turn. I mean, I was really hoping to just find a spot where I could sneak through, ride the bottom, wouldn't even notice, and like scare them into letting me fast or something.
Yeah, and for sure trying to go ahead and like try to get back, keeping with them. Of course, you got into some lap cars. Talk to us on the strategies. You pretty much took tires on a few cautions, trying to get back into the front. Meanwhile, other guys were staying out. And what was the strategy that you were playing on the final few laps?
Yeah, I mean the strategies they were very different. I mean we had like three different team cars on different strategies, but I ended up pitting on like lap 70 and then under caution on like 90 something, and that was my last set of tires. I was just like, let this go green because if a caution came out with like 10 to go, I was gonna get gapped by the fresh tire car. So luckily that played out in my favor, taking tires on the final caution. I chilled out a little bit. I was trying to hold off Jake, but I wasn't trying to burn my stuff up early. And I mean, I came back to the leaders a little bit at the end, but it was just not enough. Too late.
Of course, with the third place, you were pretty much the first guy on the chase. Of course, your teammate Bryson Burr having one of the worst days, especially on the chase right now. So, of course, you're gonna be getting at that gap a little bit closer. So, how do you feel coming into the next race, which is pretty much is gonna be Watkins Glen?
Yeah, I like Watkins Glen a lot. I like road course racing. I think though Watkins Glen is kind of the one that it's definitely the most simple road course, and it's kind of the one that everybody is in general the best at. So, unlike Sebring, where it was like I was like one of the top two cars and pulled a huge gap, Watkins Glen is going to be a very close race, and I think there's going to be a lot of cars in contention to win that one. But I think Bryson Bird, I mean, he had a 29-point gap, but yeah, he got an early black flag for a restart violation. So we're gonna be tied nearly in the points. I mean, I didn't get any bonuses today, but I mean, third place is gonna be like a really good jump in the points. So hopefully get another good top five or top three, maybe a win if I'm lucky at Watkins Glen. Daytona's anyone's game, and hopefully can get another solid day at Vegas as a 1.5 mile.
All right, and before we let you go, any shout outs that you wanna do?
Shout out to my dad who watches all my broadcast races, and shout out to the Circumference Ultimate Motorsport guys. It's fun in the team chat today with all the strategies and discussing how the race would go if we got cautions. So it was good racing with them. I mean, especially Mikey, Brett, Enrique. Zach Probst came back today, so that was awesome. Brett Bennett. So
All right. Well, we'll see you in the next one, and good luck with on the next week.
yeah, thank you.
All right, Roberts comes on. Pete from Milwaukee. We'll see him tomorrow in the ISNF Cup Series as they go to Charlotte for the Charlotte 200, whatever you want to call it. I was announced that we won't be doing the full length 600 anymore, but we will do 200 laps instead of 400. So we'll be looking forward to see what White can do tomorrow from Charlotte. So we'll go ahead and talk to your finisher right now. I don't see our winner in waiting on us the booth, so we'll talk to you, Peter Wilson. Hey Cole, it's Christian and Diego up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, a P2 finish for you here from Milwaukee. You've shown a lot of speed and these kind of part-time starts you've done here in the Pro Series here in season 20. Looked like you might have had it, but looked like your teammate there, Matthew White, just had a little bit better of a car there. Was able to get on your outside there and get around you there with 2 to go there. But walk us through your race. Walk us through maybe that little bit you needed to maybe hold back your teammate there.
Yeah, it was a fun race for sure. This was my first time ever racing the Xfinity car in Milwaukee, and I thought it raced well. It was a little challenging to pass, but it was still a fun race. It was Matthew and the 71 car. They were, I think Jake, Matthew and Jake were probably the two best, and I was like slightly behind them in third. And then once Jake got fell back on the pit cycle, and then I had gotten ahead of Matthew. I just was holding on, and then Matthew with his Matthew was saving his right front better. I was saving my right rear better. So I would have the drive off, but he would be able to roll the center so much better than me. So ultimately, I was worried it was gonna come sooner and he was gonna gap me, but I held on for a long time, and it was a fun battle, and I definitely enjoyed it.
And definitely fun up here in the booth to see you guys, side by side through during 4 and 1 and 2, trying to hold on to each other's. But you saw he may get the edge on you coming into, what was it, 2 to go. But when it comes to you, right, you're not raced for a championship, but have shown, I would say top 3, top 4 speed every week you come to the track here in the Pro Series. What's kind of the mindset for someone, not really racing for a whole lot outside of trophies? Is there a different mindset coming into to the racetrack?
Yeah, like you said, I'm just basically going for the win. I have nothing to lose. I try my best not to interfere with any of the championship guys. I definitely don't want to take one of them out of contention, but just try to stay up front, keep my nose clean, and next season I'm gonna hopefully be able to do more of these. I'm gonna try to go on a championship run, and it will be a fun season.
No, I definitely agree, and I look forward to seeing what you can do here in this 27 car. But once again, another great P2 finish here from Milwaukee. Looking in the next week, Watkins Glen. What's the outlook for you in this whole 27 team?
Yeah, I'm excited. I very much enjoy road course racing. Matthew White races though. Matthew White is also a very, very good road course racer. So that will be another fun battle, and he bested me last time we raced that together. So I got to try to get him back this time.
It'll be a fun battle to see you two battle it out there from the Glen for sure. But once again, another congratulations on a great finish here. P2 here from Milwaukee. Before we let you go, will anybody want to thank, shout out, or appreciate for tonight's run?
Yeah, I'll thank Chandler Wilson Racing, my team with Cameron Chandler wasn't able to make it tonight, but then me and Matthew White. McConey Setup Shop, NGK Spark Plugs, and then you guys for putting on a great broadcast. I love watching it after the race is over.
Well, we definitely appreciate the kind words up here in the booth. Myself and Digger really like the class out of that. But once again, another congratulations. We look forward to see what you and your whole team can do coming in Watkins Glen next week.
Thank you.
Cole Wilson comes home P2. I do still not see Matthew White up here waiting on an interview, so I think he wants to celebrate in peace, which I can't blame the man myself. But we'll kind of speak on the behalf of Matthew C. White here. We'll take a look here at the lap sled. Yeah, 9 doesn't really show for the speed he had tonight in this 25 machine. But showed, I would say, top 2, top 3 speed. Diego the whole race, and was able to get around that teammate there at the end.
Yeah, and pretty much like Matthew with Cole Wilson as well as Jake Richmond, they're all 3 guys were pretty much the class of the field today, and there were of course Richmond having that mistake coming into the green flag, the last restart, cost him pretty much the battle for the lead. And then of course Cole Wilson, he said on the interview he destroyed his right rear, so that pretty much made Matthew White saving his right front, having much better corner entry and corner center corner speed to get by his teammate and pretty much take the win. So congratulations to Matthew White, and of course congratulations to Wyatt Roberts. Pretty much, even though he's at 3rd place, is pretty much a good points day for him. So of course, with all these races happening on Milwaukee Mile coming into Watkins Glen, there's gonna be a huge storyline coming in, because the lead of the chase is gonna be very, very thin.
No, I definitely agree, and agreeing with you up here on the second screen, Andres. They already have the points updated, and we see now that Bryson Bird only has a 10-point advantage to Wyatt Roberts in the 42. Enrique still has a little bit of work he needs to do there to get back up there. I think he's 27 points behind, but still Wyatt Roberts with a good finish tonight. That P3 finish really is going to close in the gap there to Bryson Bird.
Yeah, and Bryson Bird, he cannot, um, for sure, he cannot get another bad race like this one. He gotta lock in. He gotta go ahead and, like, because that's what the chase is. You can go ahead and have the best regular season, but the moment that you are pretty much running for your championship, uh, you cannot have these little mistakes that cost you a good championship, and that's why, like what happened in 2011 on the start of the broadcast. What happened is he didn't have one of the some of the greatest races, and just because Tony Stewart has much more wins on the chase, just because of one top five, one top 10, which was the tiebreaker, made Tony Stewart the winner of that championship. So Bryson Birch, he cannot go ahead and and afford to another mistake. He cannot afford to have another race, especially with Watkins Glen coming in, because Watkins Glen is not gonna have a lot of yellows.
Yeah, if anything, it's not gonna have any, right? So look, and I'm looking at the schedule here, going into these races. We went to Chicago Street week 7, got 7th there, and we went to Sebring at week 10. He got P4 there. Then we go to now a traditional kind of road course that a lot of if anybody's raced in a league, they probably race at Watkins Glen. So I feel like I was gonna see what his finishes were like to see. They're kind of middle of the road, so I don't really know how Watkins Glen is gonna stack up because like what Wyatt Roberts had said in his interview, everybody's probably gonna be somewhat decent at Watkins Glen. It's probably the most common track that everybody has gone to or seen or knows. It's not that hard really to race Watkins Glen. It's a lot of people call it the super speedways of the road courses we go to in NASCAR schedule. So it's going to be interesting to see. Bryson Bird cannot skip a beat there going into Watkins Glen though.
Like, he cannot make mistakes because maybe you cannot go ahead and like get a restart violation, but if there's guys that are like aggressive behind you or you are aggressive yourself, you can get yourself a spawn, and that's pretty much gonna be your race. So yeah, Watkins Glen gives you is fast, but it's unforgiving. So that's what you need to know about Watkins Glen. So, and then it's gonna be Daytona, and Daytona is anybody's game. So yeah, two races that are very much like unforgiving for anybody on the chase. Uh, and anybody, I would say everybody, from Bryson Bird all the way down to the last position, which is Brian and Reed. So yeah, it's anybody's game in the last two races before Vegas. And of course Vegas, which is gonna be pretty much a normal oval, uh cookie cutter oval, which is gonna be fast and pretty much quote unquote easy for all these guys. It's gonna be a good way to end up this season for AWC Pro Series.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how things get up because once again we have 3 races left and there's not a lot of time for a lot of these drivers to get back up into the game. I feel like really the top 4 have a shot. Wyatt's only 10 back, and then you see Enrique back there about 27 back, and Jake and Enrique are tied for P3 and P4s in points, tied for third with 1,072 versus Bryson Bird's 1,099, right? So outside of that, it's gonna be hard for a lot of these other guys to make up um, points. They would need to basically outright win the next 3 races, which can be possible. Like I could see maybe Joel like that. I could see Brett Bennett maybe if he can get lucky at Daytona potentially going and doing something like that. But right now I think it's come down to 4 drivers here racing for a championship here in these last 3 weeks.
Yeah, no doubt. And well, for Christian, I would say like now I think the truck race is gonna go in, so I think we should go here like give our guys to like our final send off.
Yeah, before we leave, we should go ahead and take a look at our unofficial race results here from Milwaukee, and we will call the night here from the Milwaukee Mile. We didn't get to talk to Matthew C. White, but obviously congratulations to him on his first win of the season. We did talk to the other podium finishers and Cole Wilson, Wyatt Roberts back there in P3, Jake Scarborough back there in P4 alongside Fidel Fabian rounding out your top 5. Zach Probst with a good finish back there in P6 alongside Gilberto Gamera. Bill Farlow, Adam Tal, Michael Kruger round out your top 10.
We're gonna keep coming on to P11. Is gonna be Carlos Acosta, Ricky Cucalon, and P12. Like I said early on the finish, P12. So yeah, Blake Lothian, P13. Brett Bennett is gonna be P14. Christopher Logan, Seth Boutwell, Jake Richmond, the guy that pretty much was leading the whole race, ending up in P17 because of that mistake on the restart. President Stander with all the situation ending in P18. Ryan Runabaum, the P19 with 1 lap down, and here is the biggest story of the day. Bryson Burr ending P20 with 2 laps down.
Out the field tonight, Tim Galley 2 laps down, Brennan Reed 4 laps down, and Colin Reed after his spin down pit road. Called it a night early here from Milwaukee. But for everybody here in the HVTV booth, myself, Andreas Fares or Diego Acuna, and Matthew Pachaski not being here tonight as he gets ready to graduate from UC Riverside. We thank you guys for coming in and watching tonight's broadcast. We definitely appreciate everybody coming in the chat and being interactive. We definitely saw some new fans in the chat, and we love to see that. We saw some new Jake Richmond fans, so I'm interested to see what he can do in the next coming weeks. Looks like he's shown a lot of pace. He came out swinging tonight here from Milwaukee, but once again, from everybody here over with High Velocity TV, we appreciate for coming out. If you guys have any questions about anything, we do have the Discord channel link down below. If you guys would like to join that and talk to me, talk to anybody about the network, and we can try to get something figured out. We also do have the AWC Pro Series Discord link down below. If you want to race here in this great series, we do have the Discord link down below. You can reach out to Jake and maybe do a couple one-offs here as we end season 20. We also have to give a huge shout out to Delta Designs here for his partnership with the network, and he does a lot of stuff in the background. We also do have his X link down below. Make sure to DM him on X and to get something set up. He does a lot of good work when it comes to graphics, paint schemes, even little animations and stuff like that. Obviously, he does good work, and if you're looking for any commissions for paint schemes, graphics, anything like that, make sure to go to Delta Designs for any of your graphical needs. But once again, from everybody up here in the HVTV booth, we appreciate everybody for coming out and watching Week 14 here from the Milwaukee Mile. Once again, my name is Christian Delgado alongside Andreas Fares or Diego Acuna back up here in the booth. We hope everybody has a great rest of the night, and you have been watching an HVTV production of the AWC Pro Series.